Platchums.
February was a month, but was it a good month or a bad month for the Platchums? Speaking of trophies, of course, not anything too personal here, Platchums. We have to keep it, relating to platinums.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we're a one-track channel, that's for sure.
no going off the main track. This is a one-way train, like. But
No.
So Dan, February is come and gone. How was it trophy-wise? What were you playing? Did you get a lot of platinums? Was it a quiet month? Do tell. Do dish the dirt.
Yeah, the shortest month, but
The best.
a pretty eventful. Yeah, a pretty eventful trophy month. I have to just mention my oversized headphones. Usually we go with the more sleek look, like yourself today, but today I've got the bulky headphones because I couldn't find my other ones.
I think you're just.
I also can't hear myself.
You're just screaming. No, I think you're just asserting dominance via headphones. It's like, Nathan with his little headphones. Oh.
No, I can't even hear myself because they're like closed. So I it's like I've got my ears blocked. But in regards to trophies, the
Stepping away from Dan's ears.
I played a pretty good selection of games this month. To be honest, I have to say I kind of lost like the trophy drive for a few weeks. I just like, like I just didn't feel like there was a few nights there and I just didn't like play anything, and it was like because I just finished a few games, I don't know, I loaded, I was looking, I've even some pretty good games on backlog that I'm waiting to play, and then there was this, the really good indie sale that came out there a few days ago or last week, and I had like 10 games in my basket that I was like about to pull the trigger on because I was like, the prices are just so good. If I spend like 50 quid now, I'll get like 10 games, So I was contemplating that, but in the end, I didn't buy anything yet because I just wasn't like feeling anything particular. Like there were some really good games there, but nothing that like was urging me to play it,
Yeah, so it was kind of like an overabundance of choice, but not any kind of desire fueling that. You're just in a sweet shop and just looking around going,
yes.
I don't want any of these. I'm on a diet.
Well, I'm definitely not on a diet.
Oh, no,
definitely not a
right.
platinum diet anyway. But I did play some interesting games anyway. I played The Last Campfire, which was it's the new Hello Games game from the creators of No Man's Sky. It's an indie game. It's completely different than No Man's Sky, but it's really good. It's linear, short. It's a puzzle game, effectively.
And didn't have extortionately high expectations.
No, I think the opposite. I don't think anyone knew this game came out. There was no hype around it. Sean Murray's name does appear in the credits, like as kind of one of the producers. So he was definitely working on it. But I think they've got their hands quite full otherwise with No Man's Sky still.
Yeah, they're consistently updating it.
Yeah, and they've done a pretty good job.
Oh, an excellent job.
It's one
like considering the starting position that they were in, like they've had to do the work of developing almost like 4 or 5 like sterling games to kind of claw back their reputation, because they were in the quagmire for quite some time.
They had it rough, and this is speaking as someone who got No Man's Sky on day one. I actually enjoyed it. Like I kind of went in with tempered expectations because I knew that it couldn't be like everything that they said it was.
Well, it's like I always think, like, what were people expecting? Like the game that literally just like simulates space travel, also like everyday life, but like with building, like, look,
yeah,
but also the fact that these were given as like promises. It was just a clusterfuck, like over like huge expectations, but also fueled by like what Sean Murray and his team were saying, and it just both sides just created this magnificent, glorious fuck up. To be fair.
I to be honest, like I feel bad for that guy because like when I saw him do it, he was like on all these talk shows.
Oh,
and
he was like, on Stephen Colbert.
They were pulling it out of him.
Yeah, I'm like, he's just like,
yeah, they were really like egging him on. You know, they were really getting him to like to overhype the hell out of that game.
Is this the best game ever made? Well, is it the best game? Just like yelling at him. So was it a good game? Did you get the plat?
I did, yeah. It's a quick game, like a 4-hour platinum or so.
Oh wow! Yeah.
It was the last game I needed to finish before I had my next 10 quick and easy platinums from Good Games video that I was waiting on, kind of compiling and finishing the games for it. So watch this space. Ooh. That video will be out soon.
Oh, building hype. Don't pull a Sean Murray.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's going to be the best video
oh my God.
anyone's ever seen. You can do anything in it.
Oh, so good.
But that game was good. Actually, one of my, of course, I played Control, and I know you did too. And the only other game that like really stood out for me this month was Risk of Rain 2. I got that on one of the sales, picked it up pretty cheap.
You were saying very good things about that.
I went in with like no expectations, and I loved the game. It was so much fun. I think the really fun thing about Risk of Rain 2 is that it's not afraid to let you be powerful, which I think a lot of games do. They like to limit you, you know, like
keep
say
you in
Control
a
is
box.
a good
it's like,
example.
This is only level 2. You shouldn't be able to do these things. Just just level you up.
But like it's like in Control where it's like, oh, you can kind of fly, but you can't really fly. You know?
I'd say it's
but in
falling slowly.
Yeah,
more so than
falling
flying
with grace. Yeah. But in Risk of Rain, they give you like all these items that multiply your damage, and you know, send a rocket out when you hit an enemy, or you know, chain lightning to other enemies, and you can keep stacking and stacking and stacking these unlimitedly, basically, until your game just breaks. Like the game runs super smooth, but you can just keep adding in like particles and particles.
See, I love that.
And, like,
I love that. Like just let them loose.
It's so much fun.
You know, because I always feel like you talk about like ludo narrative dissonance, you know, to whip out the big terms. But say like in Ghost of Tsushima, which I was playing this month, which I'll get to. But just on that note, it's like, isn't Jin already like a master samurai? Surely he's paid for all these skill tree upgrades, you know? Because you start the game as essentially a master, so it doesn't really make sense in that context that it's like, but he can't do a square triangle combo. That's the most basic combo they teach you in samurai school.
Yeah.
So I always
a
find that a
very
little
good
bit odd. It's like, maybe don't build the whole game around you being a master. You know, it's like if they release a Darth Vader game and it's like, press A to use lightsaber. It's like, I think he knows. I think he knows how to use one. And it's like, oh, I can't force throw. Oh, you're Darth Vader, man. I'm getting angry over an imaginary game right now. But continue.
Yeah, or they go the way with Fallen Order, where it's like, oh, I've pushed the Force away from me, and that's why I can't do anything. You know. Where they try to like implement it into the story, you know?
Yeah, it's like, get away, Force. I don't want your power.
Yeah, I don't know how to throw a lightsaber anymore until I remember how to do it.
When it's convenient to the plot.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, Risk Rain 2, I'd highly recommend it to anyone. It's a great fun game. It's just it's like a roguelite. You know, you start off and you see how far you can go. Wave-based kind of stuff. Bosses in between, it's a really good game. I'd recommend it to everyone who just wants a really fun pick up and play game. And the platinum is relatively quick. Like I think it was maybe like 15 hours or so. But and the rarity is like 15% or so. So yeah, no, it's a great game. Really enjoyed it. Highly recommended. Other kind of smaller games I played. Control, of course, and I did all the DLC thanks to the PlayStation Plus. Concrete Genie, of course. I got Coffee Talk. We discussed about that game before. As when we were looking at someone's, I think it was Realms.
Yeah,
account,
Realms,
wasn't it?
in the collection reviews, trophy collection reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, so I finally picked that one up because it was really cheap on the sale, and that was a cool game. You play as like basically a barista, a guy who owns a coffee place. In this like Wolf Among Us world.
It's like man bun simulator.
It's more like it's like the Wolf Among Us because all the characters are kind of creatures, mythical creatures like
so Big B at Starbucks
elves and
pretty
stuff.
Much. Just he's there with his hair tied in a bun, and he's like, "Do you want soy milk with that?" And then he turns into a werewolf.
Him going. Yeah, it's effectively that, but the game is basically it's like a story game where you don't even choose like what to say really, but you choose what drinks to give people, and it's like I enjoyed it. It was a bit of a laugh. There's like an endless coffee serving mode where you have to keep serving them coffee, but it's worth it for the story alone. I had a bit of fun with it.
As someone who's worked very briefly in the realm of being a barista, I don't think an endless coffee making simulation would be my cup of tea.
No. Good one. And the other thing of note was that I of course got that platinum for Worms Rumble that I did that quick video on. Well, rare plat maybe, but maybe not excellent game. It was okay. It was a PlayStation Plus game, so look, I took it because it was free. And,
wow, that's how they get
and
you.
It took, and it took so many hours of my life.
Well, you got the Plat.
I won't play that one again.
You got the Plat.
Plat's in the bag. What about you?
I love how you said during February that you kind of lost the trophy hunting bug, and yet you got like 6 Plats. 5, 6 Plats.
I don't know. It wasn't like I didn't play in February or even for a long time. It was just like there was a few nights there where I was like, I don't really feel like playing PlayStation, and that's effectively like a big deal for me. when it's
Did
like
your wife come in with the blanket again?
No. I think I like went to bed. I went to bed really early one night. I was like super tired, and it was like nearly 11, and like usually I stay up quite late, and I was like, I think I'll get like a nice night's sleep tonight. And the next day I woke up with the most splitting migraine from like sleeping too long or something. My body just couldn't cope with like the extra 2 hours.
It's dangerous for you not to play PlayStation. It's like your doctor's like, just keep playing Worms Rumble, maybe just even wean yourself off it.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, while you had a relatively quiet month, I actually had my best trophy hunting month ever. So
ever.
Think the most trophies I got was all the way back. I think it was like March or April, like 2009, or like something ridiculous. So this at the start of the month, I was like, you know what? It's the shortest month of the year, but I'm going to make it the biggest month in terms of trophies. So that makes it even more impressive for me. I had a few less days to work with, and I still beat the record, which I'm beating my old record. It's not really that impressive. But I was kind of like, okay, I'm going to try to the 2 PlayStation Plus games this month actually really intrigue me. Normally it's like one, and kind of the other one is like, I'll claim it, but I'll never play it. It's just add it to the library and it'll sit there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, maybe I could finish off, other games, say I still haven't played Spyro 3. So I kind of went on a mad platinum rush, and I was super into it this month. So it's funny, I was the exact opposite. I feel like this past month was the most I was actually into trophy hunting, and also because here in Ireland it's another lockdown for 2 or 3 months. So it's okay, I'm gonna make the most of this. I'm gonna see how many I can get in a month. That was kind of my challenge, my reason to get up in the morning. So I started with Concrete Genie, which was to be fair a really fantastic little game. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice length because I've said it so many times that I'm working on large kind of just these huge games, so it was quite refreshing to play something so small and focused with a unique puzzle mechanic, with the genies.
Yes, yeah.
So I liked the art style. It was trophy list super easy. I would say one of the easiest I've ever done. And I got that little taste of what it's like to unlock a lot of trophies really quickly. And I'm like, I can see why people go for the easy shit, because I'm like, this is great. It's like a trophy every minute or so. Ooh, I'm just like, oh, this is...
Yeah.
Ooh. So I platted that. And then I platted Ghost of Tsushima.
Nice, yeah, good to get that one done.
So they're both sitting at like a B rank on PSN profiles. So I might need to borrow your VR headset to finish Concrete Genie.
Yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima Legends mode. I actually think the Legends mode is the most enjoyable bit of the game. Don't shoot me. Overall, very good game, but
I'm not the Ghost of Tsushima, like, please, like.
Yeah.
I contrary to popular belief, I did really enjoy the game. It's just I don't feel like it was like the best game ever, which a lot of people seem to.
I feel like it was a case of its objectively beautiful art design and graphics. I think it's a case of those maybe kind of disguising the repetition in the gameplay and the lack of actual interesting things to see in the map. I think that's the safest way I'd word it. Just in case those Ghost of Tsushima, please come back. But yeah, look, overall good game. There's actually not a whole lot to say on it because it's just a well-made game, but I just thought overall, when you kind of peel back that beautiful aesthetic, especially if you're going for the Plat, it kind of just not crumbles, but a lot of that gloss slowly gets eroded, and it doesn't do anything special within the confines of its mechanics or structure. And there's just, it's like every mission is like, do you want to go for a little walk? Yeah, grand. Oh no, the Mongols! Oh! And then you kill the Mongols, and then you walk, and then it's over. That is literally the structure for every single mission. Sometimes you're on horseback at the start now, to be fair, and you're talking instead of walking. But then it's like you go to another checkpoint, it's like, oh, Mongols! Oh! And then like the Mongols come, and you kill them. But look, I digress.
I think, you know, one of my funniest moments from that game is when you're back with this I won't go into too much spoilers, but you're back with this, you're riding along with this old woman basically, and doesn't matter like how fast you push it, she's still faster than you know. She's still like way better at riding the horse. She's always ahead of you because of that stupid like rubber band mechanic.
I think it's actually even funnier. Just the last thing about Ghost is just the running animation. I think it's so fucking hilarious, and I think it's a good thing to add in games where you can actually, like, if you run, the character you're talking to will run because it avoids those whole you went too far away from like the person, and you can see them stand like 5 meters away, and yet it's like mission failed, and it's like, just Barry, come over here, you know. But like when you sprint and you just see the old, like, we won't go into names, but you see like various characters, elderly people just sprinting like mad, like an ostrich. Everyone runs like an ostrich in Ghost. It's hilarious. But after that I moved on to Spyro 3, which nice. I think like I platted the first two within like 4 or 5 days of each other, and I think like I just didn't have the heart to go straight into the third then. So it was a case of just going back and just finishing a game that I've been meaning to finish for, 10, 11 months. I actually thought it was the easiest, bar 2. Nothing really of note, just a classic game. I'm sure most people who are watching this know Spyro. So, easy trophy, just great fun game. And Spyro 3 was the game I played most on PS1. Like, I played Spyro 1, not really too much of 2, and a lot of Year of the Dragon. So it was nice. Yeah. It was the one I remembered most.
Me too.
So that was...
I always remember the skateboarding. So much skateboarding. It was like, there's a chance that I did more skateboarding in that than I did in Pro Skater 2.
It's such a hallmark of that era, like 1999 to like 2002, 3, and maybe it stretched as far as like Bully in 2006, but just put a skateboard on. Like, the kids love it. Just put a skateboard in there, you know.
Avril Lavigne playing on the radio.
Oh, the glory days. And Chad Groger going, "If only a hero save us, not going down way." Good time.
Some song.
You had to be there. You had to be there.
Platchums have officially endorsed Nickelback.
We're nickel bitches, yo.
No one else would.
No one else would. Stay strong, Chad. Yeah. But then what was next? I got the platinum on Tony Hawk. Funny you should mention it. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Nice.
That was my ultra rare of the month.
It's a great one.
So I was delighted to get that. I just adore the Tony Hawk series. Grew up with it. Tony Hawk's Underground is still one of my favorite games. Like, I have a long retrospective video on my own channel about the whole series.
Yeah.
And yeah,
it's a great video as well. I really enjoyed that one.
Bless. I paid him to say that. But
you paid me what?
After recording, don't squeeze me down in front of the viewers, Dan. Sure. for your pennies.
But no, I have to say, like, you know, if anyone likes our stuff, I think they would just adore your videos on your channel. Of course, it's linked to our main channel page, so people should check it out absolutely if they haven't already. Because you know, I that's kind of why we started this channel, was because I always enjoyed your videos, you know. So the Tony Hawk one was really good because it's one of your more recent ones.
Yeah.
So
I'm working on a few more, but I need to be more disciplined with the writing. But but that's very kind of you to say. I'll pay you as soon as we're done recording. So then after Tony Hawk, we worked on Killing Floor 2, which will be a video coming soon. Also watch this space. So, spoiler alert, it went pretty well.
It was fun. Yeah, it was a good. I think it's the first time we've recorded anything trophy related.
And us playing together,
earning.
And I think you'll see who the better gamer is. It's pretty evident during that recording who's far more talented.
No, I just we won't go into it, but there was it was harder than I thought it would be. We'll say that.
Yeah, but I appreciated the challenge, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, it was just a bit more fun compared to just the Vine 10 collectibles that they've kind of settled on for the best part of 3 years. And then after that, I played Control. We were kind of playing it simultaneously, which doesn't happen too often. And it was another one of the PS Plus games, and it was a game that I had in my cart just like 2 days before it went on PlayStation Plus. Overall, such a unique game. Very, very just classic Remedy. Like their games have a certain. I think just like the camera placement and just the way they do environments and like the physics and stuff. It's just classic Remedy, like Max Payne 1 and 2, and like Alan Wake. So really appreciated it. It was again a nice change of pace. It feels like Max Payne mixed with like what a Scarlet Witch game would look like. You know, Scarlet Witch from the Avengers. And the powers were really cool, and it kind of reminded me of Psych Ops and Second Sight on PS2. It seemed, it just reminded me a lot of that, particularly Second Sight, just with the telekinesis and just the environments, like the kind of labs and kind of simplistic kind of environments. So that was a great game back in the day, Second Sight. So the DLC was pretty handy as well. Platinum is, if you turn on like assist mode or like invincibility, it really brings down that difficulty. But overall, very, very good game, and if anyone has actually redeemed it, definitely play it. Just easy enough trophy list, but besides that, the most important thing, the game itself is just really unique. And give it a go. And was there something else?
Just on Control, I have to say that I personally found the game so much more fun when I turned assist mode on.
Oh yeah,
because I was like playing it normally, and then I was like, oh, assist mode, what's that? And then I read the thread on PSN profiles, and I was like, oh, you can turn this game into like an 8-hour platinum. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. But I turned it on, and I was like, the one shot kills were just so much fun, and like not having to worry about like health and stuff like that. Like you could still fall and die and stuff, but yeah, I really enjoyed assist mode. I thought like it was one of those situations where sometimes it is fun to just have like God mode cheats on and just run through the game. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I have to say, it was a nice change of pace.
Yeah,
from like, because I found the enemies were like really bullet spongy. Like a headshot just didn't feel like a headshot with assist mode off.
It's like kind of any Tom Clancy game syndrome. I like as in The Division, Ghost Recon. You know, like just they're just sponges, really. You know, you can shoot them, and as you said, it doesn't have the oomph. Like they react the exact same way if you shoot them in the knee than they do in the head. But overall, very good game. So I think that was it. So I got a grand total of 197 trophies in February, which is possibly rookie numbers for most, but for me, that's a big deal. So I shattered my previous record of 134. So Tony Hawk, Concrete Genie, Ghost, I already forget there's too many, man. Spyro 3, Finish, and Control. So
yeah,
I was pretty happy with that month, and like games like, you know, Spyro was on the backlog for ages. Control was a game I've had my eye on for a long time. Concrete Genie is something new. Tony Hawk, a nice ultra rare, but one of my favorite series. And then Ghost, which is just the big Sony game. So it was like a nice kind of mix of games. Now the big question is, where do we go from here? What are you going to be working on in March?
I just loaded up a game. I just literally purchased it before we started recording. The Mooseman, and it's like a 2D walking simulator, if that makes sense. It's like a story game. It was only £3, but I looked up some reviews of it, and it's kind of like it's like a story of Finnish, Russian folklore.
Oh wow!
And it's like it was made by like one guy, and who's from like that part of the world, and it's like really, really like mythical and heavily based in that world.
I quite like
it's a super.
I like that aspect. Sorry for cutting you off, but I love that aspect in Unravel, like the kind of Scandinavian influence. You know, EA's Unravel. So I always love that kind of it's a rich history and kind of culture to draw from. So but it's more like Norse mythology, is it?
Yeah, it's got like elements of that, but it seems like the Finnish stuff is its own. You know, like because they're, I suppose they're even further north and, you know, colder and
every Finnish person
like
I've met are just absolute legends. So like, but they're mad, but they're legends. Like I did karaoke with two of them in Copenhagen one night, and there was like two Russians, a Welsh guy, me and my friend, and there was like a Spanish girl. So it was like the UN do karaoke, like, and they were just mental, but they're so lovely, like.
That sounds good. Sounds better than the Mooseman. Anyway, well, like in fairness, it seems like a cool game. It's like it's a story game, you know, and all the collectibles unlock a little bit of kind of lore, but it's founded in actual like Finnish mythology, you know. And then the other game I'm playing is the new PSN Plus game, which is Remnant from the Ashes, which is like Dark Souls with guns, basically.
Oh, cool. Like
I'm about 2 or 3 hours in. Only started last night. I have to say I was very disappointed with the frame rate and the graphics on the PlayStation 5. They haven't like upgraded anything for the PlayStation 5. Yeah, it seems like going from say Control to Remnant on the PS5 is like such a huge downgrade, because the frame rate's like capped at 30 FPS and the character models just look really bad. But the gameplay is really good. So
I think that's what matters most. I'm always a gameplay kind of guy.
Me too.
So you can kind of forgive it a little bit, to be fair. So just putting the phone away.
What about you?
Well, I started Dark Souls 2. So I thought, I loved
Dark Souls 2 is like Dark Souls with guns without guns.
Yeah, it's I must say, I was struggling. And I was getting irate. And it's definitely out of all the Soulsborne games that I've played. So I've played, Demon Souls, played Dark Souls Remastered and Bloodborne. This is the first one where I was really like, just fuck this. This is actually beyond me. And it's weird because I have the experience of all the other games. So it's like everything that all the knowledge I'd gathered from those, I was trying to apply it in Dark Souls 2, and I'm like, this isn't working. What am I doing wrong? It's like the dodging, it was like, it just wasn't, it was obviously instinctive from Dark Souls and like the parry time window, and it's like none of it was working. But I feel like the main thing I have to say when I'm struggling this much, I turn away from blaming myself and I blame the game. Like a mature adult, I blame the game. It's the game's fault.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like the level design doesn't feel as tight, and also they just absolutely overwhelm you with enemies. And I think like the first level, and then like it's kind of classic Dark Souls, it's fine. It's like it's a struggle, but you get through it. But then the leap in difficulty in like the second area is outrageous. Like really, like just obscenely difficult. And then also it's not as clear where you're supposed to go. I felt like it was much more intuitive and in a way better interwoven and kind of mapped out for you without kind of like really just telling you exactly where to go, because it's a game series that is famous for not giving you any direction. So I was struggling. I was really struggling. I'm like, what have I done? And I'm like, I was hoping for, slip back into an old pair of slippers in Dark Souls 2, but my god, it's like slippers that were like infested with spikes and mice and spiders and just eating my toes. So I was playing with my cousin today, so I feel like I'm over the hump. But for about 3 hours last night, we were trying to get him to actually, drop the white soapstone to actually spawn in, and it just wouldn't show up. And we're like, okay, like maybe set, the region to like unrestricted, and we were doing all this like just outrageous things, tap your toes twice and blink and maybe it'll show up. Or just trying to find all these like, what is this problem? So we're both like Googling stuff, and with certain games, if you feel like you're just repeatedly dying and you're making no progress, because I was in Old Man's Wharf, and I think that's my least favorite level ever. It's
very dark and the enemies are abundant.
I think the way it's set up, because with like Soulsborne games, I think the way it's designed, if you mess up, it is your fault, and it's all based on like a kind of acquiring knowledge and skill. So you learn like an attack pattern, and then you know how to kind of counter that or how to approach it, and it's like you get a little bit further each time. So you meet like a new enemy, and then you need to get through it. Then eventually you get to like a bonfire.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of skill based and whatever. But with Dark Souls, there's too much of an element of luck, because or Dark Souls 2, they literally just hoard in loads of enemies. So the skill element kind of becomes less important, and then it's more by luck, because the combat, while perfectly suited for the type of game it is, does not apply well to fighting 5 or 6 enemies. So it got to the point where, that dragon in the tower, I would just run, have 8 enemies, 8 in the dark behind me running after me, and I ran in a circle and in between the dragon's legs, waiting on the dragon actually killing them before I could even focus on the dragon. So me and my cousin tried this for 2 hours. I just like hightail it up, and sometimes it worked amazingly well, where like the dragon's tail would knock a couple of them off, and I'm like running in a circle, like just trying to like manage my like endurance and stuff. I'm like, this might actually work. But every time I thought it was going to work, the dragon just knocked me off, and you fall on fire into the water. And you just, so it was kind of shocking. But so we're trying to say, well, what is this problem? And this is what I love and hate about Soulsborne. So we spend so much time and just energy just trying to figure out, why can't I summon you? Because we're the same soul level. We looked into that, and I was like, I can't summon even NPCs. So I was like completely like alone and desperate. And then it turns out, right, because I joined the Covenant of Champions.
Oh, yeah.
Not only were the enemies more difficult, but I was completely banned from calling in or summoning anyone. It doesn't tell you that. There was one absolute beautiful hero of a person who left that comment online, because it's not mentioned anywhere. I don't know if maybe in the Soulsborne community they like to maybe hoard the information, keep it to themselves, and not really like tell people. It's like, oh yeah,
that's the one on the cliff in Majula, isn't it?
Yes. So I joined that covenant, and unbeknownst to me, I must have endured about 10 hours of misery because of that and confusion. But luckily we were able to join each other. He's at like the same point in the game, but on his second playthrough. So, oh my god, we beat the dragon, and it was excellent. Just nice. This whole, like, high five.
They've made it. It's even more complicated though than actually just soul level in Dark Souls 2. It's actually soul memory.
It's ludicrous.
Yeah, it's really complicated.
Like I think they should but they should just have where invite a friend, and if your friend is much higher ranked than you're, like, over leveled, just scale them down to like a reasonable amount. Like, it must be easier to implement than that stupid Bloodborne, like, ring the bell and then like you're on the other side. Like, it's ridiculous.
It is. It's very convoluted. I don't know, is that like intentional because they don't want people to get help, maybe, but maybe they want to make it its own Dark Souls. It's the Dark Souls of summoning friends.
It's the Dark Souls of like co-op. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
I think, like, say I know I watch a lot of speed runs, and I know that, like, in the speedrunning community, Dark Souls 2 is the hardest game, and I always look to, like, what do the speedrunners think, because they're the guys with, like, the elite skills,
Yeah, you can trust a speedrunner.
And they always say, like, they do a no hit category where they can't get hit once, and there's been people who've done it, like, quite a few people at this point who've done the whole series, the whole Soulsborne series in one sitting without getting hit.
Okay. Whatever about like playing the whole game not getting hit, that is just a feat in and of itself. But in one sitting,
the whole thing. Yeah, Sekiro.
Well, do you have their number?
You can YouTube them. They're out there. Happy Hob, I think, is one of them. But I think that, like, anytime I've watched it, they're like, they'll do like Dark Souls 2 first, for example, because they'll be like, have to get Dark Souls 2 out of the way, because, like, or maybe they're not allowed per the category. Maybe they have to start with Dark Souls 1, but they know that it's like, it's a good run when they finish Dark Souls 2 without getting hit, just because of how, like, inconsistent it can be due to the enemies.
Yeah, I like to think I'm over the hump. Like, I'm level 53, and I feel like I'm so, like, I'm a much higher level than I would have been on, like, the fourth area of, like, Dark Souls or Bloodborne. Like, I think it was, like, around, like, 30, 35. But it's just, that's going to be mainly what I'm going to be working on, to be fair, in March. Like, it's going to, like, the peak of, like, February is just going to be, like, an absolute just, like, crashing back down. But,
it's 3 playthroughs, I think, and you have to do the DLC. So
see you next month.
What to do definitely there, though, is to finish the DLC on playthrough 1 the same way as you do in Bloodborne, with the old hunters, because don't touch the DLC in the new Game Plus, because it just gets crazy.
It gets scaled up, doesn't it? No, but look, I think I'm over the hunch. I think so far it's my least favorite, but my cousin was saying, he was like the latter half is far better than the first half of the game, and it's just, they just throw enemies at you in the first half, which just kind of artificially inflates the difficulty, but once you kind of get over that hunch, like, it is better. And then I've got Dark Souls 3 courtesy of you waiting for me, And then I will have completed all the Soulsborne, and then maybe I'll move on to Sekiro, but maybe not for a while. I think if I play anything else this month, it's going to be Prey or maybe Deus Ex.
I'll set you a goal where you, to finish all the Dark Souls and Sekiro by the end of the year. I think you can do it.
Challenge accepted, Dan. I accept. So you want me to have... So I've Demon Souls, I've Dark Souls, Bloodborne. So Dark Souls 2, 3, and Sekiro.
Yeah. I think you can do it. You can do it.
Leave a comment below if you think I can do it.
I think you can.
Oh.
I'll comment on our own video.
Yeah, you go. But
you do it, yeah.
And what about you?
I think Dark Souls 2. There's a great video by H Bomber guy. He does it's like a 2-hour video on why Dark Souls 2 is actually really good because everyone hates
Does
Dark Souls 2.
Does he have a PowerPoint presentation?
It's a great video. All his videos are really good, actually. If people are into like kind of fairly obscure games, but like really really in-depth analysis, he does great ones on Fallout and Pathologic. A really great YouTuber, but he did a great video on Dark Souls 2, and he talks about like the kind of like the risks that they took in Dark Souls 2, because it's not a safe sequel. You know, they change up quite a lot about the game, while still keeping everything there. And it did get like a bit of a, like, it's still critically acclaimed and everything. It's still, the quality is there and everything. But I think a lot of fans felt that it was, you know, unfair at times. They do group enemies at you quite a lot. I personally love the game. Like, I like picking my favorite Dark Souls game is like picking my favorite child, you know. It's too difficult.
They all have their unique qualities.
Yeah, they do. Like, there's just some such amazing levels in Dark Souls 2, and it's the kind of the game that I spent the most time with recently, because I played Dark Souls.
Oh yeah,
1,
you recently did Scholar of the First, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and I finished it. I got really close to the platinum, and then I left it for like a year or two, and then I came back to it, but I effectively had to start again because, you know, it's so hard to load up a Dark Souls game halfway through and be like, oh, back to business.
I don't think anyone's ever loaded up a game like Dark Souls a year later and gone, where was I?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's too hard.
Nah.
You just haven't a clue what's going on, so it's better just to start from fresh, because you need the skills from fresh. You know, it's like a... It's like
a golf swing.
But it's a great game.
But if it's like a game of golf where if you don't get a hole in one, you're gonna instantly die.
Yeah. No, you'll fly through it. It's just I would say do the DLC on the first playthrough. There's some like really strong weapons I was telling you about. You know, that Santier spear. That's a really good one.
I'm using the fire sword, and I find like the Dryalic armor.
Yeah. Fire sword is just like the vanilla sword of the game. You know, it kind of works.
And I like vanilla.
There's a lot of you're gonna get to a lot of fire places where you're gonna have problems though.
Yeah, well, I have the Dryalic sword as well, but I need to upgrade my dexterity and strength a bit more to be able to like wield it properly. So I'm just it's just I'll get through with the fire sword, and we'll see. Like, I like to think I'm over the lurch now. I'm over that initial humping road, and we'll go from there. But it's like I've already clocked in like 15 hours, and I find it ridiculous. Like, I've only got trophies for killing, I think, like one boss, and I had like the stupid goal of like, I had it for a second. Like, oh wait, maybe I can like just get the 97% and just not get the trophy for, you know, dying. I got killed by 3 little mole rats in like the village. It was just little pathetic, pig guys, and I'm like, no, the dream is dead.
And a really, really unique bit about those little pig guys. If you kill the pig guys, like, and they're really hard to kill, like especially at the start, they've got like loads of health and they do loads of damage and they're super aggressive. But if you kill them like 3 or 4 times and come back, there's just like giant super pigs there, and they just maul you. It's awful funny. It's a great game.
Oh, the developers.
I love that I love that hub of Majula. I think
that's something I actually really love. And the lady that stands at the cliff, she's kind of Celtic looking, which is a Irishman I kind of appreciate. And just with the
all the fire keepers are
brilliant
kind of
cloak
like that.
animations, brilliant cloak physics on with the wind. I have to give credit when it's due. And it's kind of like Digimon World, where like they all come back. It's like File City all over again. They all kind of come back. But
they'll start selling toilets.
And the arena.
God, I remember when I was playing Digimon World when I was young, and I remember like all I wanted to get was like a portable toilet because it was so hard without those in the game.
That must be one of the hardest games from my childhood that I actually finished.
I played it about a year ago, and I remember
I played it about 4 years ago actually.
I loaded it up because I was like, oh no, I really want to play it again, and I played it, and then I got like really far, and then my Digimon just died, and then I was like, oh well, surely it's going to be easy to kind of get back, and they were like, no, start from scratch straight away again. And that was it.
Yeah,
that was it.
Like when I was playing it, it was I got a Metal Greymon for all the Digimon fans in our base. Yeah. But then I went to that like haunted mansion area, and it digivolved again, and I'm like, but there's no Mega Digimon in this game. So I played the game so much. Oh yeah, it goes to
Metal Greymon, doesn't it? Yeah.
So I played so
Dark
much.
Greymon.
No, it turned into Skull Greymon.
Skull Greymon. Yeah,
and then it was like the stats were outrageous, and I literally tore through the game just with that Skull Greymon without having to do a whole lot. So
nice.
So that was kind of my little thing. So if anyone out there is trying to play Digimon World in 2021,
that's a special evolution, I think, in that mansion. I think like you have to get there with a Greymon, and then he becomes Skull Greymon.
Yeah, I had no idea, but it was already like an ultimate Digimon, so it was I don't know if that was like kind of cheating a bit because like the stats obviously went up again. But I'll take it. But overall a good month for us. 5-6 platinums apiece. We both finished off Killing Floor. I finally got Tony Hawk. We both got 2 ultra rares. I would say that's pretty solid month for the Platchums.
Pretty good February.
Yeah, pretty good February. So let's wait and see what March will bring. And since you've bestowed such a ridiculous challenge upon me, let's see if I can get all the Soulsborne Plats and Sekiro by the end of the year.
I have 100% faith in you.
Okay, at least it's only March. March.
Yeah, you have plenty of time. Like if you did one every 2 months, you've still half the year.
That's a cruel existence.
Yeah. Once every 3 months, and then you'll be kind of like you'll be just on time.
Well, hopefully I'll just tear through Dark Souls 3. Hopefully I'll just tear through that, Oh, well, my phone is going off. I think that's the cue to stop recording.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make a YouTube video. So rude.
Yeah.
So rude.
I know, life, huh? No, you can do it, and I'll help you along the way. There's no multiplayer in Sekiro, which is which is the harder bit, but it's a completely different game. It's a completely different game. So
okay, I look forward to it. Anyway, Dan, congrats on a fantastic month.
You too. Yeah, well done.
I'll catch you on the flip side. Platchums.